All right. Welcome to the Power Hour. The question of the day is, why do people stay in situations they know are bad for them? All right. Well, people stay in situations that they know are bad for them because they're not thinking about why they're bad for them. That's it. That's the reason. They're not focusing on the negatives of the situation that they're in. They're focusing on all the things that are causing them to stay in these nasty specific situations. So just knowing something's bad for you doesn't mean that you're going to be able to extrapolate that and take yourself out of that situation. So I'd say the only way that you can really remove yourself from these situations is going to be finding something that is more important to you than the situation that you're in. So let me break this down, right? Let's see. What's a situation that somebody knows is bad for them? I'd say being in a relationship with somebody who's not good to you, right? That's a pretty obvious one that I think is probably where the situation stems from. If you know you're in a situation where you're in an unhealthy relationship, whether that's physical, emotional, whatever, but you're still staying in that situation, well, it's probably because you like some things or you like what that relationship does for you, but the greatest part of that relationship, which is to be in a healthy, loving relationship, is not working. It's not there for you. So I think identifying the whole purpose of being in that sort of situation is key. So why am I in a relationship? Well, I'm in a relationship because it's supposed to bring me joy, happiness. It's supposed to bring me companionship. It's supposed to bring me motivation. It's supposed to bring me, a partnership. And once you really can identify that the whole purpose that you're doing something for, like why have you chosen to be in that situation? And if you can then look at the why and say, this is not what I signed up for. This isn't what I was like. This is People don't go and get into relationships to feel the way that I'm feeling. Well, maybe that's you realizing the bad situation that you're in. So once you've realized it, the question is why stay? And I think that's another battle on its own, right? So working through the changes that are needed to get out of a bad situation is probably harder than realizing that you're in the situation, because now you have to take steps to get somewhere new, right? I like to work in the direction of identifying what it is that you want, like where you're trying to go, what relationship, or not, if we're going back to relationship, identifying that, hey, maybe I just need to be by myself for a little bit. I think identifying that is a great way to start taking steps towards something. If it works for some people, it might just be like, oh, this relationship isn't good. I need to get out of it. What are my steps to get out of it? Great. If that's how it works for you, cool. I think it's easier for most people if they can put their sights on something. So, like, if you're living with somebody and it's not working in this situation, visualizing what life looks like in a new place by yourself. How do I get there? What are the steps? Oh, do I need a different job? Do I need to figure out the car situation? Do I need to figure out money to move out? Do I need to figure out, is there kids involved? Is there, you know, shared banks? Is it, stuff like that? Those are all things that are steps that you have to take to get to that vision that you have for yourself, right? So it really comes down to identifying the reason you're in your specific situation. What does the situation that you're in look like? What did you expect? What do you expect out of that situation that you're stuck in? And then identifying what your future better situation looks like that you would like to start working towards to get to there. The one other thing I guess I could share about it is, if you know that you're in a bad situation, or if you know that somebody else is in a bad situation and you don't know why they're staying in it, you got to look at all the details of why somebody makes the choices that they make. So if you see somebody who's having a hard time in a relationship and you just can't wrap your head around why they would keep getting emotionally or physically abused in a relationship, well, there's a lot of details that go into getting somebody out of that situation. Somebody might feel like they deserve to be in a bad situation. Somebody literally might not know the answers to the questions that we just laid out. Like, this is what the future looks like for me. These are the steps 1, 2, and 3 I'm going to take to get there. Somebody might not be able to identify that when they're going through a tough time or a bad situation. So I think if they can't do that, that's the best way you could help somebody, is probably not just tell them, hey, your better life looks like this, let's work through it. It's kind of really just working on that step 1 for them, with them. Hey, I noticed you're having a tough time. What what do you? How's your car? Do you have a car? Like, let's figure out how we can make sure that you have a car. That you can take yourself from point A to point B. Something like that. It's not as direct as, hey, let's get you out of the situation. These are the steps you got to take. But it's, here's a step we can work on together that I think will be good for you in the long run. And then there's a little bit less friction there of what exactly is going on in the transition. So I hope these steps and these key points on identifying the reason for someone being in a bad situation and them still being there will help you, or can help you help others in dissecting those problems.